What up, everybody? Seems like it's been like forever since I've done a Tuesday Night Live, but we are back. And I thought when I scheduled this that it's going to be a slow news day. Maybe talk a little bit about the spring game this Saturday, what we're expecting, what we're hoping for. But then, nope, the last 24, 36 hours have been a little more eventful than I expected. So let's hit it. All right. So, first off, let's start with some good news that came down the pipe yesterday. We got a new commit, a tight end, Luca Gilbert. He stands at 6'7", 240 some odd pounds. Huge target. Great catch radius, amazing blocker, multi-sport athlete, which we know Mario and the staff love. And especially when they play football and basketball, they have that agility that they're going to come in with great feet, great athleticism. So that's athleticism and size is not something I'm concerned about there. He's coming in as a 4-star recruit, 4-star composite recruit. You got to be specific. Actually, no, I was just checking it now. He's 4-star on the composite and on 247. He's almost making that top 250 on the composite. And I love this pickup for many reasons. Number one, I think he's a culture fit because you look at his tape, you pull up his tape on Huddle, and like the first 5 plays are of him blocking dudes, and not just blocking dudes. He's pancaking dudes. He's blocking guys like through the sidelines into their own bench. He's finishing blocks, which I love to see. This kid looks like they're going to turn him into a tackle. Entirely possible. Yes. I hope they don't force that though, because I see athleticism there as a tight end as well. I think back to, the last time Miami did this and they were successful with it with Eric Winston. Eric Winston came in, I want to say class of 2002. And little by little, he puts on weight and eventually becomes a tackle, becomes an All-American caliber tackle. I don't know if he ever officially won All-American when he was here, but he was that level of good when he was at Miami. But I don't know. I like Gilbert's athleticism at the position, even though his sample size playing tight end is not huge. Let me pull it up here. I think he had like 15 catches or something last year. Yeah, he caught 15 passes for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. So not a huge sample size, but if you look at the tape, when he is making plays, it's pretty impressive. Very smooth route runner for being so tall and so lanky. He could definitely fine-tune that a bit. He's still a little bit raw. But at already, around 240 pounds, and there's some rumors he might be a smidge taller than 6'7", he might hit a growth spurt and grow a little bit more and gets a 6'8". You never know. Say that happens, and say naturally, just from eating and hitting the weights and, just his body maturing, he might put on 30, 35 extra pounds. If he does that naturally without trying to like force it on him, like we did with a few guys in the past, then maybe you lean into that. If he's hitting 270 by the time he's a sophomore, 275, 280, then maybe do it. But I would stick to tight end because I see a ton of potential here. Yes, Mitch, we're gonna talk about Nigel Leak hitting the portal. That's next. Zion Nelson, yeah, I read something about him maybe getting some reps in practice finally. I mean, a Zion Nelson sighting, we haven't seen that in a long time. But we'll see what happens there. Not sure if he's going to stick around or, maybe test out the portal. We'll see, because look, what's up, Lex? Nigel Leak was just the beginning, okay? We're going to see at least 12 guys hitting the portal, which is good because that frees up other spots. We'll see a wave going out and a wave coming in. So when you see these guys leaving, I saw something on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, but think of it like free agency. Think of it like free agency. Someone leaves. It's like you can't get emotionally attached. It is what it is. It's the new era of college football. You got to look at it like that. Guys leave, but guys are going to come as well. And thankfully, our school, our team will be not only very competitive, they're typically very competitive in the portal, but they're going to be very aggressive in the portal. You got to go out and get a running back, obviously, and I think they will. You got to go out and get a premier corner. At least a corner that's like Jaden Davis level from last year, that is a Power 5 starter, and you know he's going to be dependable. You add that to the room we have with Porter and Damari and Jadeus and all those guys, I think we'll be good. Fresh is saying Bear Alexander. Yeah, I saw he was intending on hitting the portal. Yeah, I'm good. Not that the kid's not talented, I'm sure he is, but this would already be his third school in 2 years or something like that. Yeah, no, I don't know if that would be, in my opinion, a good culture fit. But anyways, back to the tight end pickup, just to wrap that up. Yeah, really good pickup by this coaching staff, and a great pickup by Cody Woodall. I know he gets a lot of flack from Hurricanes fans, and honestly, I'm really not sure why. Well, I know why. It's because the production from tight ends dropped off last year, and I get it. A lot of that fell on the quarterback play. I'll say that right now. A lot of that fell on the quarterback play. Some of it was injuries. Like at one point, every tight end in the room was hurt, and you were young. You had, Jackson Carver, true freshman. He wasn't going to get on the field much. The only guy you can depend on, and he could do one thing, was Cam McCormick. So I think Cody Woodall deserves some props for this pickup. Also, he went out, and I think people already forgot this. Elijah Lofton, the dude that everybody's talking about from practice, who was his lead recruiter? Cody Woodall. That's right. So I think this year's going to be very telling to see if the production goes up and guys like Riley Williams develop, and if Elijah Arroyo can bounce back and look like his old self. Then, I'm very sold, but I'm still, I'm not going to go ahead and say that our current tight end coach is a failure. We should get rid of him in any way. But this year will be very telling. Yes, Pimp Down. The portal is going to get insane. And this is right here. This is, I think, the beginning of it. This is kind of like we're seeing already the first wave of guys starting to not officially hit the portal because they can't yet, but announce their intentions to hit the portal. Yeah, I like the Damian Martinez kid. Definitely put up some great numbers at Oregon State. Good size. I think I looked him up. He's like 6 foot 232, something like that. Good speed. And at 230 something, I mean, you got good size. You're going to run around people and through people. So that's one I'd keep an eye on. I think from all I'm hearing, all indications, I think we do go after kind of a big name like that. I know a name that's been thrown around is Rashad Amos. I consider that a big name because he's going from the group of 5 to the Power 5 or Power 3, whatever the hell you call it. Or he might. No one's picked him up yet, but that's probably what he's intending on doing. That's another guy that I think he had over 1,100 yards and is like 6'2", 230 something, or 6'1", 230 something. Great size, good speed for being so big. And we 100% have to go get one. We have to go get a running back. Whether Fletcher is healthy for the season or not, I'm not sure. I don't know if he's going to be ready for game 1. I mean, a lot can happen between now and August 31st. But you got a lot of question marks as far as injuries. If one of those guys is not available, you need a veteran in there. Even if Elijah Lofton is everything they're saying he is at running back. He's a freshman. He's not going to carry the rock 25 times a game. He might be in there for goal line situations, certain packages, carry the rock a handful of times a game, third and short situations. Sure, I could see that. I could see him being used consistently in certain packages, but he's not You can't depend on him like that. He's a true freshman. But you got to go out and get another veteran. You add a veteran, now, okay, you have options. So if one or two guys isn't quite ready, you got somebody you can lean on, at least for the early part of the season. All right, let's see. Is Arroyo actually experienced? Hasn't he been hurt so often? I don't know how many games he even started, to be honest. Yeah, thinking back, I think he got hurt in 2022 pretty early, or like halfway through the season. 2021 was his best season. That was his true freshman year. He and TVD had a nice connection. That was when TVD was TV, like the good TVD with Brett Lashley and that fun offense. Arroyo looked good in some of those games. And that dude, God, if any of you guys see Arroyo in person, he is huge. He is so big. I just know if he gets healthy and he finally gets right, it's done. That's your tight end. He's going to put up some numbers. What up, Lex? Our football team will be taller than a basketball team with him and Judd. Yeah, you're probably not too far off on that. He put on too much weight. Nelson came in at 240. Yeah. I mean, look, Zion Nelson came in as a 2-star recruit, severely undersized, and he got thrown in there when he should not have been thrown in there. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But they threw him in there at left tackle against the Gators. And you know what? He was an okay left tackle for most of his career. It's unfortunate that it's been cut down due to injuries, but I hope he can come back, whether it's here or somewhere else. I wish Zion the best of luck. But yeah, I agree. I would add to that. He put on too much weight too quickly, maybe. He should have redshirted that first year, 1,000%. Melissa, our new center, 6'10". Thank you, Hoodie Girl, for that. Yeah, don't hate on hoops. I like those pickups that they've made. They've added some nice size. You got Bethea and Schwartz coming in. I don't sleep on the basketball team next year. I like the pickups that they're making. Okay, outside of injuries, what would be a successful spring game? Outside of no injuries, let's be clear. I don't want any injuries at all. But yeah, that would be great if there's no injuries. Let's see. What would be a successful spring game? I want to see the freshmen look good and look like they're ready. I would like to see sophomores, guys like Damari Brown, guys like, I don't know who was a freshman last year that will actually play, because CeCe's out. I'd like to see Porter come in there and look like he's bounced back from his injury and return to form. Arroyo, the tight ends. I would like to see the tight ends get some targets and make some plays. Let's see what else. Quarterback play. Obviously, I want to see some nice, steady quarterback play. I would like to see, I like to see what we got at the end outside of Ruben Bain and Elijah Alston. They seem to be the starters right now. The way it's looking, obviously it's early, it's April, but it looks like for sure Bain on one side, on the other side Alston, and we might be active in the portal at that position. We might look to go get an edge rusher. Mesidor, he still has to come back from his injury, but outside of that, I know we got a lot of youth, a lot of bodies. Hearing some nice things about Cole McConaughey already, which is great. I've been hearing since he committed and signed with the team and everything that McConaughey's a problem. I can't wait. There's a few guys on this incoming class, and really the guys I'm excited about the most aren't the highest rated guys. Obviously, I'm excited about them too. I'm excited about the JoJos and guys like that. But man, about Elijah Lofton, he wasn't I think he was middle of the pack, 4-star. I don't know where his ranking was. Obviously, he's on his way to having a great freshman year. Who else we got? McConaughey, obviously. All I kept hearing was how physical he was, and he's going to be a great fit. Artavius Jones, another one. You're not going to see him in the spring game, but Artavius Jones, I'm excited to see him because I've heard physical. He's freakishly strong. He's kind of in that Ruben Bain mold that he's not the biggest guy in the world. May not be the fast. Well, he looks fast on the field, so let me retract that. He's pretty quick for a D tackle. May not be the biggest guy, but freakishly strong. So there's a few guys that were kind of Dalen Russell, another one, kind of the under the radar recruits in the class. Dylan Day, another one. I'm excited about those guys. I'm not going to lie. Chris Johnson, you mean, is not hurt? I'm not sure about if Chris Johnson is hurt. I know he's been getting a lot of reps in the spring. I don't know if that's something that happened recently that he got nicked up, but I don't know. Maybe you guys in the comments can help with that. Stafford at corner. Yes. I would love to see Stafford make a couple of plays in this game. Because if he can develop, now you got the new D tackle, Clark. Yeah, I'm not sure. Stafford, because if he emerges, now you got 4 guys. Now you got Jadais Richard, who I'm hearing good things about. You got him, you got Stafford, you got Damari Brown, you got Daryl Porter. Now you got 4 potentially reliable corners. Now I'm feeling a lot better about the depth. And if you go out and add a DB, it could be a slot corner, boundary corner, a safety that maybe plays like some nickel packages, just to add some depth, some versatility, a guy that can maybe play a little bit of both. I would like to see that. Because, we're lacking depth a little bit at safety and corner. But if guys emerge and develop, now all of a sudden depth is not as much of an issue. See, I'd love to see 2 screening ends, a 2 stud D tackle, and 1 middle linebacker. Yeah, I mean, we already have the Mike that can do that. We got 2 good defensive ends, and yeah, we're probably going to add to the D tackle position as well. Let's see, Hill from Memphis is in the portal. Yep. Word is CJ isn't ready. Okay. Hey man, look, this is what spring is for. He's a veteran. CJ Clark's a veteran, so if he's not ready, he can rest. So that's not a problem. But yeah, the portal's been becoming active already, and I can't wait till after the spring game, because people are almost looking forward to right after the spring game than this, like more than the spring game itself. I've never seen that before. It's crazy. But then again, we've never had a free agency in college football like we have now. The big D tackle who's like 330. Yeah, I would like that. A space eater that you can put in the middle. That would be great. Another thing I'd like to see how our safeties look in general, because we did just lose 2 guys to the NFL, 2 very reliable players. But I'm excited to see more athleticism at that position, because and I wish them both the best of luck. I think they're both going to have decent to solid NFL careers. I think they can. They're both very capable. But, let's be honest, they didn't grade out well in the combine, which should tell you something. You could look at it a couple different ways, but it should tell you, hey, Coach Guidry got the most he could out of those players. And he got some good production out of them. But I would say, yeah, you're losing those 2 guys, but I think the athleticism and the speed of that room is going up. Sorry, CJ as in Chris. Man, you guys are throwing me off. CJ as in Chris Johnson. Okay. So Chris Johnson isn't ready. Look, if a player's nicked up and he's not ready, easy. Don't play him. You got 6 months until the season starts, so I'm not worried either way. But maybe him not being ready as far as like body-wise, if that's what you mean. I don't think he'll be. I agree that I don't think he'll be ready to like get 15, 20 carries or anything like that. Because CJ, my thing with him, his freshman year, he was still very small, and he still is kind of small. But on certain packages and just in certain ways where you can use his blinding speed as a weapon, I would love to see that. Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, you were referring to CJ Clark. Either way, either CJ, just if they're nursing anything right now, just take care of that. That's more important than participating in the spring game. What's up, Demetrius? How the D line, O line look practice and who stands out now. I have it on good authority that the two units have been battling. The defense are going to have their days, and the offensive line are going to have their days. I like that Samson Okunlola is emerging as a potential option at left guard. Love to see that. I know some people want to maybe slide him out to tackle or maybe develop Matthew McCoy as a tackle and push CC Mauigoa inside. Before I continue, let me take a sip of my cafecito. Delicious. It's more of a cafezón. This is not cafecito size. This is a big one. Had to bring out the big guns. But you got 2 returning tackles from last year. That's a blessing by itself because many schools wish they had 2 returning starters at left tackle and right tackle. You want stability on the edges. And it's not just 2 guys that were like, they were okay last year. No. Jalen Rivers could have gone pro if he wanted to and probably been drafted in the middle rounds. He's got good size. Jalen's like around 6'4", in the 330 range. He's got solid NFL size. He'll probably end up as a guard when he gets to the NFL because you want to be more like between 6'5" and 6'7" for them to really look at you and really make that big money when you get drafted as a tackle. He's probably going to end up as a guard. He doesn't quite have the height maybe and the wingspan. But as of right now, as a college left tackle, Jalen Rivers is one of the best in the country. You get him back. So left tackle is locked up, good to go. You don't have to worry about it. Which is great because how many years recently, like in the last 4 or 5 years, did we have a new right tackle or a new left tackle or both? And it was a massive question mark and we were worried. That's not the case this year. So left tackle, you're good. Right tackle, Francis Mauigoa, who I love. I know he got a lot of flack towards the end of the year. He made some freshman mistakes. Yeah, he's a true freshman. The man is 6'5", maybe a touch above 6'5", 330 plus pounds, and not a lot of fat on him. If you've seen CC in person or even in the game, I've seen him both in person and in the game. Oh my God. Like an absolute freak. Just jacked. I mean, when I tell you there's not much fat on him, I'm not exaggerating. 330 pounds, mostly muscle. And look how well he did as a true freshman last year. I'm putting him right back in that spot so he becomes even more comfortable. He's comfortable in the offense. It's the same offense we ran last year. And, he doesn't have to, because going from guard to tackle or vice versa is not easy. I think guys just think, he's blocking the guy on the edge. Okay, he just moves inside and blocks the guy inside. It's pretty much the same thing. It's all blocking. No, it's not the same. It is not the same. So my point is don't tinker with the tackles. Okay? Leave them there. That way at left tackle and right tackle, you're set. Francis is going to be a monster. I have no doubt about that. I will be shocked if he's not. Shocked. You're good there. At the guard position, you got Inez Cooper, who I think is going to contend to be an All-American. I think he's one of the best guards in the country. I can't think of many better than him. He's got the size, the quick feet, the power. He's he's a beast. You got left guard, like I just said, Akunlola. If he emerges and wins the job, great. If it ends up being McCoy or somebody like that, or Kinsler, fantastic. Whoever ends up being left guard, I think is going to be solid because they competed and they won the job. Center, I know we've heard some mixed reviews, to say the least, on Zach Carpenter. I have heard the consensus has been rough start to the spring, but he's come on a little bit. He's gotten better, kind of gotten up to speed. I just want competent play from my center. Snap the ball, and snap it cleanly. Help the offense get lined up. Use your experience in that regard. And, just hold your block for a couple seconds. Hit your block and hold your block for a couple seconds. I'm not asking for much from my tackle. I'm not asking you to beat Matt Lee. Matt Lee was special. I'm not asking you to be that. But I like our offensive line right now. Probably going to add an interior guy in the portal, most likely. Defensive side of the ball, Ruben Bain is doing more Ruben Bain things. Not worried there at all. Elijah Alston, the kid from Marshall, I heard is very good. No surprise there. He came in with very high PFF grades. People much smarter than me really grading like every snap, and they say he's good. And usually, and I like to rely on those grades, especially for a position like defensive line. Let's see what else. Marley Cook, heard good things about. Clark also. Yeah, I don't have too many complaints. We don't have that possible like first round defensive tackle this year. If we can go add one, that would be great. But you got bodies. You got Artavius Jones coming. You got, actually scratch that. You don't have a lot of experienced bodies because yes, Justin Scott is coming. Artavius Jones is coming. Who else? I just had him on my mind. Damn it. It was on the tip of my tongue and it slipped away. It'll come back to me. But you got some reinforcements coming in the summer. But they're young. They're freshmen. Joshua Horton. He's banged up. So you got some question marks at defensive tackle as far as depth. I think starter we're good, but got to still keep developing that depth. Armando Blunt, thank you for bringing him up. I've heard, let's just say this, I heard he may not redshirt this year. Like, the dude is that good. Or he might be that ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is crazy because he's supposed to be going into his senior season. But the physical part is there. He's very intelligent. So I'm not too shocked, but it's pretty cool to see. But yeah, we're going to be very young at that position going into this season if we don't go out and add one more piece, and I think we should. Wayne at defensive end. I got to find out. Yeah, he just turned 17, Armando Blunt. Wayne at defensive end. I've heard promising things from him. I've heard he's stepped it up a little bit because some people were a little, I guess, disappointed by his play. He was coming in as like almost nearly a 5-star recruit. At one point, had that 5th star next to his name. So, people were expecting a lot from him. And, look, some guys, I'll give you a pass your freshman year. Especially when Ruben Bain overshadows you, I think Jaden had to put on some weight and, just get that first year under his belt. I do have some expectations for him this year, though, because, he's got all the talent in the world. Let's see if I miss anything. But, yeah, as far as when or what I would like to see in the spring game, that's pretty much it. And I'll finish, I think, on this subject, the backup QB situation. I know that's been it's been a bit of a cluster. Mitch, when do you get to see the passionate China Flow always say you turn into during games, but live on YouTube? I don't know if you'll ever see that. That part of me only comes out during a game. Yeah, it's something about like once the whistle's blown and kickoff happens and I'm actually there or I'm watching it on TV, I don't know, something comes out during those 3.5 hours. Yeah, Wayne has to put on weight. I agree. Yes, thank you. Hit the like button. Yeah, so the backup QB situation. I, like many of you, take a sip of the caffeine real quick. Yeah. All right. I, like you guys, have heard anything from Emory doesn't look ready to no, Emory looks solid, or Emory's gotten. This is the one I've heard the most, that Emory's gotten better with each practice. I can believe that. There's this conspiracy right now, and I'm calling. To be fair, I'm calling it a conspiracy because honestly, I don't know. This is the part I don't know. How good has Jakari been in practice? Because that's what we really want to know. How good has Jakari been in practice? Honestly, I've heard he's been all right. Like I have not heard anything to the contrary. I haven't heard that he's been bad. I have heard that, he's kind of behind the other three. He's kind of behind the other three guys. Like he's fourth. But then I've heard other people say, no, he's like right there. Like he's like even with the other guys, which I could believe because I mean, we saw a lot of improvement in the bowl game. So it's a very odd situation. Obviously, the spring game will show. It's a 1-game sample size. It's a scrimmage. It's not going to show a body of work over the span of 4 weeks, but it could give us a hint, But this is one of those things that time will tell. I'm just going to kind of sit back and see what happens. One thing I have heard consistently is Reese Poffenbarger has been pretty solid in pretty much throughout camp. Poffenbarger's been solid, which I'm not surprised by. I am a Reese Poffenbarger guy. I have been since we picked them up. Anybody that I've talked to that really, maybe they've played the position or they know quarterback play, they just know how to watch quarterback film and they're knowledgeable. A lot of them look at him and are like, yeah, accurate deep ball. Guy's a gamer. He's competitive. Really, the thing working against him the most is that he's only 6 feet tall. But he checks off every other box. I mean, very, very accurate. And, he just needs the experience. So I'm excited to see how Poffenbarger looks in this spring game. And Jakari and all of them. I want to see how they all look, but especially Poffenbarger. It's the whole N'Kosi Perry situation all over again, minus the off-the-field stuff. Yeah, I'm getting similar vibes, but yeah, you don't have the off-the-field stuff. Obviously, we know Jakari seems to be a quality human being, and he wants to be here. Yeah, it's an odd situation, but the next couple of weeks are going to be very telling. Obviously, spring game itself, and after that, we will see what happens there. But it's interesting, like the different sides that you're hearing. You need a top 5 defense and a top 10 offense. I don't know if we're going to get the top 5 defense this year. I think I could see both units fresh being top 20. I could see both being at the back end of the top 20, which is I will take that all day. Offense, I think of the two has the better chance of maybe finishing in the top 10. I think this offense is going to score bunches. Marquise needs to put on weight as well. Yes, he does. It's just unfortunate. You see certain players, all they're missing is like 20 pounds of muscle, which is, look, for some people physically, it's hard to do. It's just, I don't know if it's genetics or their skeletal frame doesn't hold it or what, or their metabolism. Yeah, it's just, it sucks. It's like, it's that one thing that's missing from your game, you know? Do you think, okay, I know I've said this like 3 times. This I'll end on. And by the way, 66 in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Please hit the like button and subscribe. From Christian, do you think with the right transfers, we can go to the playoffs? God, what would prevent us from going? I don't think it's the right, like, 2 or 3 guys out of the portal. I think what we're missing more than anything is depth and experience. And I don't think you solve that with a handful of new guys. I think a handful of new guys could win you an extra game or 2. But then again, the playoff has expanded this year, so that it's possible, but not likely. I still think, like I've said a lot recently, I still think we're 1 year away from now. Like this year, you're going in with the mindset of, okay, we could win every game. We're going in with the more talented roster. I mean, we've been saying that for years, but now you're going in with the more talented roster, plus a quarterback, plus you got 2 returning coordinators that you like, especially on defense. You got back-to-back top 5 classes or whatever, or top 7 classes. Haven't done that in 20 years. So it is a little different. Plus, you're going to plug up some holes in free agency. So because of all those things, it is a little different than years past. And I do think if you look at the trends, Randy Shannon, year 3, 9-4. He starts off, he goes 5-7, then 7-6, 9-4. Al Golden, he starts off 6-6. We self-sanctioned ourselves. We didn't go to a bowl game. Second year, 7-5, same thing. We chose not to go to a bowl game. Year 3, 9-4. Mark Richt was a little different. But that second year, we saw that 10-win season. So it's like they come in and year 2 or 3, you see that spike, you know, and I think we're due for that. So, but anyway, that to say, this year, you're approaching it like, yes, we can definitely win every game. It's possible. We're probably going to slip up a couple times. To next year, say you have a quarterback that you like, whether we go out and get another portal guy next year, or it ends up being Poffenbarger or Jakari or whoever. And you're good with that. I think we have the roster next year to just be like, yeah, we're not going in thinking, okay, we can win every game. I'm going in thinking next year we should win every game. Next year we'll have the depth and the talent and the speed and athleticism and the size to like, okay, anything under 10 wins is a complete failure. So I think we're still 1 year away from that. But yeah, really the thing keeping us that would keep us out of the playoffs this year, to go into every week. I mean, we saw it in 2017, week in, week out, and grind out some victories and blow out some other teams. And to do it consistently like that, it is difficult. And it finally, we had some depth issues on that team. Kind of, the quarterback play kind of caught up to us at the end there against Pitt. And also we looked flat against Pitt. I think not being able to rotate more because you didn't have the depth caught up to us at the end. So, and remember, these seasons are long now. They're expanding the playoff. You got a conference championship. I mean, if you go the distance, if you go all the way to the championship game, you're playing, I think, 15 games, 16 games. That's an NFL season. So you need to have the vets. You need to have the depth, the bodies to make it through, because it is a gauntlet. I don't care how hard or how easy your schedule is. You're bound to slip up at some point. If you don't have that veteran leadership and that leadership like on the field, where it's like, hey, no, coach, I got this one. You know, on defense, you know, you can rally the guys and make a stop. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I think we're still a year away from me saying, yeah, I think we can make the playoffs this year. I don't think we're quite there yet. Is it outside of the realm of possibility? No. Because if you got a guy like Cam Ward at quarterback and he really starts clicking, we've seen crazier things. Anything's possible. Anyways, I'm going to end with that. 64 on the chat. Thank you. Hit the like button. And I will see you guys soon. And I'll probably see you some of you at the spring game. Take it easy. Have a good night.